The alarm isn't a sound anymore. It's a physical assault. A dull rhythmic thud that vibrates through the mattress and settles in the marrow of your bones. It's 6:15 a.m. and the room is freezing, smelling of stale coffee and the sour scent of a night spent tossing in sheets that feel like sandpaper. You reach for the phone before your eyes are even fully open. The blue light sears your retinas, a digital needle injecting dopamine into a brain that's already starving. You scroll. You see them, the architects of the world. The ones who seem to breathe different air, standing on balconies in cities you can't afford to visit. You feel that familiar, acidic burn in the pit of your stomach. It's not jealousy. It's worse. It's the confirmation that you are exactly where you belong. In the dark, in the quiet, in the nothingness of a life that feels like it was scripted by someone who hates you. You've become a passive consumer in a world of aggressive creators, a ghost haunting your own timeline. Your attention is the only currency you have left, and you're spending it all on people who don't know you exist. But then, something snaps. It's not a grand epiphany. It's a moment of pure, unadulterated disgust. You don't just put the phone down, you throw it. You watch it skitter across the hardwood, the screen flickering once before going dark. In that silence, the hum of the refrigerator feels like a scream. You realize that your brain has been marinating in loops designed to keep you every like, every save, every maybe tomorrow has been a brick in a wall you build yourself. You stand up, and for the first time in years, the floor feels solid. You aren't looking for a hack or a guru. You're looking for the exit. You walk to the window, pull back the heavy curtains, and watch the gray morning light spill across a desk cluttered with empty energy drink cans and notebooks filled with half-baked ideas. You realize that you aren't waiting for an opportunity. You are waiting for permission, and the only person who can give it is the one you've been avoiding in the mirror. The transition to the outside world is jarring. You're sitting in your car now, the engine idling, the heater blowing air that smells like dust and old upholstery. You're staring at the office building across the street. The fluorescent lights inside hum at a frequency that vibrates in your teeth. People are walking in, shoulders hunched, eyes fixed on the pavement, looking like extras in a movie about a plague they don't know they have. This is the safe lie. This is the place where dreams go to be processed into spreadsheets and end-of-week reports. You've spent years justifying this misery because the paycheck felt like a shield. But as you watch your manager man, 10 years older than you, with a permanent scowl and a posture that looks like it was shaped by a cubicle pool into his reserved spot, the shield vanishes. It's a leash. You aren't looking at a mentor, you're looking at your own ghost. The realization hits you like a bucket of ice water. You would rather starve on your own terms than feast on their scraps. You put the car in reverse. You don't go inside. You drive. The fear doesn't hit you until you're at the grocery store later that afternoon. You're standing in the aisle, your hand hovering between the $4 eggs and the $6 ones. Your heart rate spikes over $2. $2. That's the price of your dignity today. That tight knot in your throat is the physical manifestation of not enough. It's the scarcity shackle. It's the voice in your head whispering that resources are finite, that the world is a zero-sum game, and that for you to win, someone else has to lose. You've been trained to view money as a puddle that's slowly drying up, rather than a river you haven't learned to tap into yet. You stare at the cottons until the labels blur. You realize that scarcity isn't a financial status. It's a lens. So it's a filter that turns every decision into a survival crisis. You take the $6 eggs, not because you're reckless, but because you refuse to let $2 dictate your heart rate ever again. You stop asking, can I afford this? And you start asking, how do I make this price tag irrelevant? The sun goes down, but the light in your apartment stays on. It's 2 a.m. and you're back at the desk. This is the purgatory of the overthinker. You have 12 tabs open. You're researching the best business model for 2026, how to scale without capital, and the psychology of selling. Your brain is a Ferrari engine stuck in a tricycle frame, revving until the metal glows red, but you haven't moved an inch. You tell yourself you're preparing. You tell yourself you need more data, but the truth is simpler and much uglier. You're using information as a sophisticated form of procrastination. You're building a library instead of a life. The flickering cursor on the blank document looks like a heartbeat. Every second you don't type is a second you're choosing to stay in the cage. You feel the weight of every book you haven't read and every course you haven't finished pressing down on your chest. Then, you do something radical. You close every single tab. The silence is deafening. You open a blank page. You write one sentence. It's not perfect. It's actually pretty bad, but it's real. And in that moment, you realize that clarity doesn't come from thought. It comes from friction. It comes from the mess. Weeks pass, and the pattern starts to emerge, but it brings a new kind of pain. It's Friday night. Your phone is buzzing on the nightstand, the vibration rattling against the wood like an angry insect. It's the group chat. One drink, they say. Don't be a hermit. You see the notifications, and for a second, you want to go. You want the comfort of the familiar. You want to sit in that dimly lit bar and complain about the boss, the weather, and the economy with people who will nod and agree. But then you realize that their comfort is your poison. This is the social exile. You're realizing that the crabs in a bucket analogy isn't just a cliche. It's a biological imperative. Your circle doesn't want you to fail. Tehustonti wants you to outgrow them, because your growth is a mirror reflecting their own stagnation. You leave the phone face down. You stay in the chair. You embrace the silence until it stops feeling lonely and starts feeling like power. You're learning that to get what the 1% have, you must do what the 99% won't even. If it means being the weirdo who doesn't show up to the party. Then comes the ego death. You finally launched. You put your work out there, trembling, sweating, expecting the world to stop and notice. And the world did ... nothing. 0 views, 0 sales. A comment from a stranger calling your work derivative. The heat rises in your neck. A prickly, shameful warmth. Your stomach drops. You feel like a fraud who finally got caught. This is the moment where most people retreat. They take the failure as a sign from the universe to stop. But you sit there in the wreckage of your expectations and you look at it. Really look at it. You realize that you've been tying your self-worth to your net worth. And that's a losing game. You look at the failure not as a tombstone, but as a lab result. You're a scientist now, not a victim. No emotion. Just data. The market doesn't hate you. It just doesn't know you yet. You realize that the only way to lose is to stop playing. You take the feedback, you strip away the hurt, and you start the next version. The gritty feeling of the start begins to fade, replaced by something colder and more mechanical. This is the machine mindset. The motivation, that fiery, emotional fuel that got you through the first week is gone. It's been replaced by a dull, gray repetition. You wake up, you execute, you eat, you sleep. There are no hustle culture soundtracks playing in your head. There is no fanfare, just the sound of your keyboard clicking and the low hum of your own focus. You've hit the boredom barrier. This is where the amateurs drop off because it isn't exciting anymore. It's just work. But you realize that peak performance isn't a climax. It's a ritual. You aren't chasing a feeling. You are building a system. You learn to love the boredom, to find a strange, meditative peace in the grind. You realize that the person who can do the same boring, effective thing for 1,000 days is the person who eventually owns the world. And then a shift in the gravity of your life occurs. Money starts trickling in. Then it starts flowing. But you're exhausted. You're working 16 hours a day, trading every waking second for dollars. You've built a business, but you've realized you've just built yourself a prettier cage. This is the value pivot. You're still thinking like an employee with a better title. You're still operating under the delusion that hard work is the ultimate goal. You're staring at your bank account, and for the first time, the numbers don't bring a smile day. Bring a realization of how much of your life they cost. You stop selling your time. You start selling results. You stop being the engine, and you start being the captain. You delegate the tasks that drain you. You automate the processes that repeat. You move from the engine room to the bridge, and for the first time, you look at the horizon instead of the floor. One day, you find yourself back at that same grocery store. It's raining outside, the same gray drizzle as the day you started. You pick up the expensive eggs without looking at the price. It doesn't even register. But then you see him, a young man standing by the milk, staring at his phone with that same hunched posture, that same hollow look in his eyes, that same blue light coma you lived in for years. He looks exactly like you did. This is the ghost of the old you. For a second, a wave of imposter syndrome hits you so hard you have to lean against the shelf. The fear that you're still that guy, that this is all a dream, that it's all going to be snatched away tomorrow. But then you look at your hands. They're the same hands, but they carry a different weight. You realize you didn't just change your bank account, you rewired your DNA. You are a different species now. You aren't lucky. You're the result of 1,000 quiet decisions made in the dark. Finally, you reach the state of the architect. You're standing on a balcony, or perhaps just in a quiet room you own, away from the noise of the city. There's no hustle here, no desperation, no need to prove anything to anyone on a screen. There is only the absolute, terrifying, beautiful clarity of total autonomy. You look back at the 7-day detox, the 10 levels of hell you had to walk through to get here, and you realize the final illusion. The grind was never about the money. The money was just the scoreboard. The real prize was the person you had to become to earn it. True wealth isn't the ability to buy things, it's the ability to say no. It's the reclamation of your time and the total ownership of your identity. You aren't a victim of the system anymore. You are the architect of your own reality. You look at the world not as a place of scarcity, but as a canvas of infinite potential. The detox is over. The scarcity mindset is a shed skin on the floor of a past life. You take a breath of air that actually feels fresh, and you realize that for the first time in your life, you aren't running away from failure. You are walking toward the sun. The real work, the work of being free, is just beginning.